Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. It's Crystal here. I haven't made a video in a while because I've been busy studying. And so basically, I wanted to make a new playlist. And this new playlist is Learn R the Easy Way. And then so what we're going to be talking about in this playlist is how to learn R the easy way. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use Google Colab to create a Jupyter Notebook. And in the Jupyter Notebook, we're going to program the Jupyter Notebook to write the R programming language. So if you come over here to this line of code right there, if you put it in your web browser, then what that will do is that will enable you to call up a Jupyter Notebook in the R programming language. So that's a neat thing about using Jupyter Colab to program in R, because normally you would program in Python, but if you put this code in here, it will allow you to write a program in R. And one of the things about R is a statistical programming language. So it's a language that's been created for statisticians. So it has a lot of inbuilt functions that you wouldn't see in Python. So Python is a general purpose programming language. And so in order to do a lot of things in Python, then what you need to do is import libraries. And when you import those libraries, that enables you to do a lot of tasks such as statistics and engineering and visualization. But you don't have to do all that in R because a lot of these functions are built directly into R. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the basics of R. So to assign a value to a variable, you're going to use a little less than sign and a dash. And that's how R assigns values to variables. But it will go ahead and accept the equal sign. So if you're not really up on R, you can still use the equal sign. It will accept that. So that's something that's good. So we've got X becomes Y and Y equals 10. So those are just two examples of how you can assign a value to a variable. And then you also have something called a vector, and a vector is like the lowest value, whereas in Python you might have a list. Well, a list is something different in R. So you create a vector by saying A becomes C, and then what the C does is the C adds all of these elements in the vector together. So A becomes C brackets 1, 3, 6, and 9. And then if you want to see the third element in A, then you do A square brackets 3 and you'll get a C, because that's going to give you the third element of A. You also have something called a matrices, a matrix. So there's a matrix command as well. So M becomes matrix 1:6, which means 1 to 6. In row means it has 2 rows. In col means it has 3 columns. So M1, 2, you go to the first row and the second column, and so that's going to be 3. But what we'll do over here, we'll just do this. We'll just say So you can see here, when we go back to the vector, you can see the vector 1, 3, 6, 9. And then the third element of the vector is 6. So we'll come over here to the matrix. So you've got the matrix of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the one row is the first row, and the second column, that gives you a value of 3. And this is a good point to say that one main difference between R and Python is that in R, the first number is 1, whereas in Python, the first number is 0. So that's two big differences between R and Python. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say, give you a function, the sum function. So result becomes sum of 10, 20, 30, and then you print result, and that's going to give you 60. So that is the function of sum. And you have your if-else control structure. So I is less than 4. No, sorry, I becomes 4. And that's another thing. You have to remember that less than in the dash is the same as equal sign in R. So I equals 4. If I is less than 2, print I, else print I times I. And then so you get, so we say 16. So 4 times 4 is 16. Now we're going to do a for loop in R. For A in 1 to 3, print A times A. So it's going to be 1 times 1, 2 times 2, and 3 times 3. So you're going to have 1, 4, and 9. And now we have a while loop. So I becomes 1. While I is less than 4, print I times 2. I becomes I plus 1. And so what we do is we have a while loop of I plus 1 is 2. And then I becomes 2. And then I 2 times 2 is 4. So you've got 4. And then 4 plus, so you got, sorry, I'm a bit muddled up. So while I is less than 4, print I times 2, and then I becomes I plus 1. So the first one is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So I equals I plus 1. So it'll be 1 plus 1 is 2. So I becomes 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So it'll print 4. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. And then you print 3 times 2 is 6. And then I equals 3 plus 1 is 4. And so that takes you out of the loop, because the loop only operates while I is less than 4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about comments. This is how you make a comment. If you want to make a comment, you use the hash mark. The hash mark enables you to make a comment. So that's what we've done. And then you also have a help menu. If you need help, you can do the question mark and then the function that you need help on. And then another thing that you could do is you could say help and then the function that you need help on that way. So there are two ways that you can ask for help. So we'll just run this, and you can see on our Jupyter Notebook, gives you help, tells you what help is. So for the mean, it says generic function for the arithmetic mean, and it gives you information on that. And then we go to LM, and then it gives you information on LM. So if you want to know what a particular function does, then you can either put the question mark and the function that you're interested in, or the reserved word that you're interested in, or help. And in help, in brackets, you put the reserved word in bracket, in parentheses. So that's it for the basics of R. The next video I'm going to make is going to be about data structures. So I do hope that you decide to watch the data structures video. And so I'm going to close this video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. And I'll be communicating with you in the next video.